Hello and welcome back to MissionChief.com. I'm Horny Devil, and today's episode is going to be a little bit different than the one we typically do. Typically, we do fire stations, police stations, and all sorts of other stuff. Right now, I'm broke. I'm only sitting at $212,000. I haven't been playing in the last few days just because I've been doing stuff, but I typically only play at work. So on my days off, I'm just at home, just doing other stuff. Anywho, if I'm going to play Mission Chief, I'm going to play it at work. So, anyways, today's episode is actually going to be about a viewer's question that they sent in. So let's just head over and see what they said. Excuse me. Could you please do a video explaining specialized stations and how the mission generation works? So let's say what missions fire stations with a forestry extension will generate versus the ones with a forestry extension plus a specialization. This topic has been really confusing to me since the possible mission list. I can show you guys a little bit what the possible mission list is. List these two different categories. So do I need to have 7 unspecialized ones to get those missions, and then with 7 with specialized extension? An example for a veteran player of the game would be greatly appreciated. Okay, I can definitely help you with this. It's really hard to tell when other people's accounts are doing this, just because their setups are a lot different than mine. The way people build is different than everyone else's ways, so I can just kind of run through it. So let's talk about Wildland. I think he was talking about Wildland here. Yeah, so he's talking about the forestry extension. Since San Francisco isn't really forested, I can't really use San Francisco as an example, but our San Mateo County and Santa Cruz County have this ginormous big basin, Redwood State Park. So there is a few forestry extensions here that I have built so far. So I'll give you guys some examples on kind of what that means. Okay, I'm just trying to explain. I'm trying to explain this the best way I can without it being too confusing. Okay, let's head over to station number 56 here. This one, okay, never mind, wrong station. I'm trying to find a station that has the forestry extension. I think it's 59 actually. Yes. Okay. So here's the thing. Okay, you can get the specialization. I'm just going to walk through what a specialization is real quick. So specialization is, actually, I'll just read what Mission Chief says here. A specialization building effectively turns the building into a different type, only with one specialization being active at the same time, as it will start spawning missions of this category. Corresponding extensions will need to be built first. Okay, so I do have one example of this, and we're actually going to head over to the SFO International Airport. So at SFO, I did the airport extensions. I got the extensions plus the specialization. So let's just head over to the airport real quick. Let's actually just go to this so you can probably see it a little bit clearer. This erases all the missions on the map so you can actually kind of see what I'm doing. So I have 3 specializations at the SFO airport. You can kind of see what they already are. I have the airport specialization. So you can see station 1, 2, and 3. They have this little icon with the airplane symbol. Sorry, my mouth is a little dry, so it's kind of sticking together a little bit. So I have the 3 symbols with the airplanes. So these 3 missions will only generate missions that are related to aircraft. So engine fires, plane off the runway, sick passengers, or different calls like that. So I will never have a gas leak. I will never have a car accident or anything like that when you have a specialization. So specializations are very nice to kind of differentiate your areas, which is kind of cool. Different examples of this are kind of few and far between. But if we look, we have forestry, airport, water rescue, and then foam specialization. So for instance, I showed you guys the airport specialization where it shows an airplane. Actually, over here in Richmond, California, there is a massive Chevron oil refinery. It is absolutely huge. All this in purple is the oil refinery. This oil refinery has its own fire department. So they have this oil station 60 here, which is actually really stacked. There's a massive amount of units here. For instance, if this person got the foam extension, which I think this place actually does have some like type 4 units, I do believe, so that's why he's getting the forestry expansion. But if this person wanted to get the foam expansion, this whole station would just generate industrial calls only. So you wouldn't get house fires, you wouldn't get gas leaks, like I said, you wouldn't get residential fires, garage fires, confined space. Actually, you might get a confined space rescue. You wouldn't get an obstruction of traffic in this area. So that's just specializations. Same thing goes for the water rescue and what is the other one? So yeah, water rescue, forestry. So I hope that explains specializations. Okay, going on with that, you can also turn off and on the specialization. So if you don't want the specialization on, I would turn it off. By turning it off, it would start generating those fake calls, like those urban calls. So if you turn this off, for instance, you will start getting the obstruction of traffic, animals stuck between walls, burning garbage trucks. You would get those in the airport. I hope that explains it. So you can see here that I have the smoke and cabin call. Then I have the patient transfer from flight. I will never get any other call other than this one because this wasn't generated by the airport in the airport. Okay, so I think that I covered specializations to the best of my ability. Next up, we're going to go on how to generate a specific call. Okay, so the way I play is it's mainly urban calls I get that are all just randomly generated. I do have my airport specialization, as you guys can see. These are all active. So I do get my airport calls. But for wildland, I'm actually working into wildland. It just takes a little bit of time to actually set it up. But if we head back to this station that I originally clicked on, fire station number 59, and we go to expansions here, you can actually see that I have it not ready for action. And this is for a reason. I really don't like forestry calls, so I just have them turned off. It also makes the gameplay a lot quicker and more streamlined for me, but I think at some point I will turn this on and actually start generating them, but I don't have a lot of calls that have wildland units. I don't have stations that have wildland units, I should specify. Okay, so first off, we're going to go to Mission Chief, and we're going to head to possible missions. So this is a very helpful link or website to go to. So click on possible missions. Now, since he's talking about wildland, this is actually probably a keen opportunity because I don't have a lot of wildland. So if we go to mission type, and let's go to wildfire missions. I don't have any fire stations with the actual forestry extensions. So this will be pretty easy to show you what I'm talking about. Okay. Let's go to... We're going to keep this under all dispatch centers. You can actually change the dispatch center. This is a little bit more complicated. I won't go over this part, but this you guys can kind of figure this out a little bit later. So we're going to keep this under all dispatch centers. And then we're going to actually, hold on, we're going to turn off our mission speed real quick here. Actually, we'll keep it on for now. We'll be a little risky. So we'll go back to the expansions. We're going to turn this one on. So this means that technically, actually, I'm actually going to turn this off just so I can show you guys an example. So CFS, this is under what dispatch center? The SMC Regional Operations Center. Okay. This is where you guys just need to pay attention because it's going to get a little complicated. So SMC Regional Operations Center. So if we go to buildings, oh, I'm sorry, not buildings, statistics, here we go, okay. So under the SMC Regional Operations Center, San Mateo County, we have 54 fire stations, 3 ambulance stations, 14 police stations, yada, yada, yada. Anyways, if we go under here, we have 0 forestry expansions activated because I have them turned off, as I told you guys before. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn on 2. Okay. Now that you guys have saw that, right now, this call right here, the ones in green are the calls that we can get. So let's try to shoot for this medium wildfire. So for the medium wildfire, we need 8 fire stations and 2 forestry extensions. Okay. So right now we have 54 fire stations, so we meet the 8 fire station requirement. So what we're going to do is go under and activate 2 forestry extensions. So we're going to go back to that fire station that I originally clicked on. We're going to go to fire station number 59, and then we're going to go to expansions. We're going to turn on the ready for action. Now we're at 8 fire stations and 1 forestry extension on. Next up, we need to go to, there's one of these Scotts Valley fire stations that need to turn on. It's this one, okay. Oh, this is actually out of the county. Oh, shit. Let me just check something real quick. I don't know if there's another station that has, okay. This is what I didn't think through. Okay, so, boy. Okay, here we go. Fire station number 57. So this one also has a not ready for action one. So we're going to make this ready for action. So that means we currently have 8 fire stations and 2 forestry extensions activated. So what we're going to do right now, this is not updated, so we're just going to refresh the page, and this should turn green. So we're going to head, it just refreshed everything, so we actually have to go back in here. We're going to go under wildfire missions. So as you can see, this just turned green because we just hit our threshold. We turned on, well, we've always had our 8 fire stations, but we also just turned on our 8 forestry extensions. So now that this just turned green, like I said before, the little wildfire and the brush fire were green, now the medium wildfire is green. So we just activated the medium wildfire. This is an easy way to like not make your area too complicated, but keep it within your thresholds. That's how you do it. I hope that answered your question about the different things. If you have 7 unspecialized stations, it's okay if they're unspecialized. It just means you'll get like gas leaks, like I said. But there's a pro and con of doing a specialization versus non-specialization. So I would probably do specialization if you are a full wildland station, or if you have the equipment for wildland, I would do it. But if you don't, I probably wouldn't, just because you're going to be getting wildland calls 24/7, and it's going to exhaust all your resources really quickly. For instance, if you have, let's see here, this guy was talking about, he has 7 wildfire stations. If you have 7, let's see. I don't think any of these require exactly 7, but if you want a major wildfire, you need 14 fire stations, 2 police stations, 4 forestry extensions, and then 1 wildland commando extension in order to unlock the the major wildfire. So I hope that answered your question. One more thing I want to go over before we end this video. I'm actually going to turn this back off real quick here because I don't want any wildfire missions. And then we're going to head back to, what station was it? Station number 59. We're going to go to expansions, and we're going to turn this off. Now by turning these off, we will deactivate the mission. So if we refresh this page, this one, the medium wildfire, will turn gray. So let's head over to wildfire missions, and it is grayed out. So hopefully that answered your question. 2K19, hopefully. So that went over specializations and how to activate the specific missions. Recently, today, in this update, I'm going to show you guys just a little thing. This can be very helpful for you, so I would definitely continue watching if I were you guys. So let's go to messages. So today there was a new mission. Mission Monday, fire at a bus depot. I don't care about the fire bus depot. The thing that you want to read, though, is this right down here. Please note, you can now deactivate your station. Standard fire, rescue, and police stations are activated when you build them. All other stations and extensions can generate missions now that are deactivated by default. So, just like you can turn off extensions. Anyone got one more ambulance? Sorry. Okay. Let me just, my lines mate just needs some assistance. He's playing in Oakland right now, so he probably just needs an ambulance. He doesn't have a lot of ambulances right now. He's got 4 ambulances for Oakland, which is, anyways, all in the story. What was it just? Okay, I was talking about the new update and stuff like that. So what you can do is you can actually turn off and on fire stations, which is kind of cool. This can be very useful if your station is not what you expected it to be. You can turn it off and on. If you don't play in a specific area anymore, you can turn them off and on. So this is the tab that they just turned on or added to the game, which is actually going to be pretty useful. Next up, the thing that you're going to want to see, and this is a more recent update that I didn't even notice until one day I noticed it. This is the set mission spawn area. This is going to be very, very helpful. So let's just take a look right here. You can see this ring around the fire station here. So we're talking about this fire station right here, fire station number 48 on Treasure Island. We can make the ring spawn different calls. So if we want this ring to generate calls within a 20-kilometer radius, if you guys can see this little orange circle here. So this fire station will generate calls wherever the ring is. So if we technically wanted to generate calls in Alamo, California, and Danville, we could put everything in this ring. And I wouldn't do this per se because it would just complicate things heavily. But if you want to shrink it down, so your area is in a more borderline 5-kilometer radius, I would definitely keep them all at 5 kilometers if I were you guys. But if you wanted to be a little wild, and let's say you had a large mountain range like this, what you could do is obviously make the circle big. Like if this was a wildland station, you could move this circle, this little orange circle, right over the mountain range. And everywhere in this little orange circle would start generating some wildland calls. So that is kind of cool to do if you were to kind of mess with this stuff. The same thing works with, I think, every single station. I do believe, not the police station, but it works for the Coast Guard station, which is kind of cool. So for this, you can move and you can generate. Let's do 150 kilometers just to be a little crazy here. So I could start generating some coastal or some Coast Guard calls right in the middle of the ocean. I could do that if I really wanted to, but I'm not, because that's just crazy stuff. Oh, I totally misread this guy's mission or his message. He says, "I got me one more ambulance." I thought he needed one more ambulance. Whoopsies. I wasn't paying attention. Anyways, so that explains just new update and just the radius and stuff like that. So I hope that answered your call, 2K19, to the best of my ability. If not, just comment below and I will try to do a follow-up video. But I think that was what he was getting at. Yeah. All right, I'm going to end the video here. I will catch you guys on the next one. It's going to take me some time to generate some credits. I'm really hoping for a double credits day here soon. I highly doubt it. Usually they only drop them on like actual holidays, so Memorial Day, I think Mother's Day sometimes too, which is really weird. But yeah, I will catch you guys on the next one. See ya.